Welcome back, everyone. Mark Alford here with another edition of Capitol Recap. This week, I'll start off with the big news right off the top. President Biden's State of the Union address, and let me tell you, folks, the state of our union is strong. Unfortunately, the state of our president is weak, very weak. During Biden's address, he gaslit the American people who are really worried about the true threat, the threat of communist China and our national security.
Today, we're in the strongest position in decades to compete with China or anyone else in the world.
Under President Biden's leadership, America has been utterly embarrassed on the world stage, with the latest episode coming a week ago when the president allowed the Chinese Communist Party to go unchecked and invade our U.S. airspace and spy on our country. President Biden has also failed to really give a damn about the crisis at the southern border, and there is really no way to spin it. Since President Biden took office, there have been more than 4.5 million illegal aliens crossing into our country. The president's failed to really present a plan to secure our border during his address. Instead, President focused on a plan for airline and ticket prices.
He's also taking on junk fees.
It's ridiculous. We're supposed to be relieved after the State of the Union address, but President Biden's speech left me more concerned about the state of the presidency. So I don't know about you guys, but I really didn't feel empowered at all, nor inspired by the president's speech. I'll tell you what did inspire me. Deputy Benazet from Cass County. He was my guest at the State of the Union address, and he is the real inspiration. You might remember that we recognized Deputy Benazet for receiving the Life-Saving Award and his heroic act, saving 2 lives. I thanked him, and I'm really honored that he joined us this week. Well, now, since President Biden failed to protect our security interests this week, I, along with the House Armed Services Committee, focused on protecting our national security. I went to the House floor to address the CCP's invasion of the U.S. airspace. Listen. Sir, I rise today to address the most critical national security threat our nation is facing today, the Chinese Communist Party and their invasion of our U.S. airspace. Well, as a member of the Armed Services Committee, I will not back down. I will not back down until we get the answers we need for you, the American people, and for our district. How long? How long did this administration know that this spy balloon was going to invade? Why was it allowed in our airspace to begin with? What level of military and security intel was jeopardized? We need answers. We must have a plan to stop the Chinese Communist Party's clear and blatant military aggression. Mr. Speaker, I yield back. We also had our first Armed Services Committee hearing where we really focused on understanding and discussing preventative measures to protect our nation from the threat of Communist China. That China is our #1 national security threat. We cannot allow China to walk all over us and outpace us militarily. When we project weakness on the world stage, as the Biden administration has done, China and other adversaries will take advantage, and they are. I also had the opportunity to speak and meet with the Strategic Deterrent Committee, where we focused on prioritizing national defense issues for Whiteman Air Force Base and Fort Leonard Wood, both in our district. Securing and protecting our national defense could not be a more critical issue right now, and I'm glad to have joined that fight this week. Lastly, I could not have been more honored to recognize Ava Lawless from the House floor. I proudly appointed her to the U.S. Air Force Academy. Look, folks, we've had a very busy week responding to the failures of the Biden administration, but our Republican Congress is really committed to America, committed to you. We are focused on solutions that undo the abuses of the Biden administration, protect our national security, and we are here to serve you. It's the honor of a lifetime to represent the Missouri's 4th Congressional District. I'm Mark Alford, your voice and your vote in Washington.